What's going on, football world? It's Carter with X's and O's, and today I'm going to be talking about converting a 4-3 over front into a 52 under front. I'm going to start out by drawing a simple offensive formation, which is going to be an I formation. You have your X, your Y, and your Z receivers, your quarterback, your fullback, and your tailback. And we will put a 4-3 over front into X's and O's yellow. On your over front, your 5 technique is going to go away from strength. We are assuming that the strength of the offense is to the tight end side. That's how most people set their strength of their offense, because there's 3 offensive linemen on this side versus 2 on this side. We're not counting the center because the center is the center. And so the defense would come out of the huddle and they would call a right call. Your 5 technique would go away from strength. Your 3 technique and your 9 technique would go to strength. So there you have your 4 defensive linemen at first level. That is the first part of a 4-3 over front. And then you will have your will linebacker, who I like to put in a 53, 5 technique, 3 yards off the ball. And then you would have your Mike. Your Mike is going to be in a 1 technique, 5 yards off the ball. And then your Sam linebacker, who's going to also be in a 53, 5 technique, 3 yards off the ball. In a 4-3 over front, your Will, Mike, and Sam are your 3 second level players. Will is responsible for the weak side B gap. Mike is responsible for the strong side A gap. Sam is responsible for the strong side C gap. Your corners would cover the split and the flanker somewhere, and your safeties are going to be somewhere in the alley unless they're in a cover 3. This looks more like a cover 2 or a cover 4 pre-snap alignment. Now we are going to change, using the same personnel, change from a 4-3 over front into a 5-2 under front. So we have our X, Y, and our Z. We have our quarterback, our fullback, and our tailback. And we are going to keep the same personnel on the field, but we are going to move it from a 4-3 over front into a 5-2 under front. The defense will still set the strength to the right side. So coming out of the huddle, again, right call. 5 technique will still go away from strength. But instead of having a backside or a weak side 1 technique, now we have a weak side 3 technique. I just want to pause for 1 second, and this is why I will go ahead and draw in the strong side 1 technique. This is the difference between a over front and an under front. Going up top to the top diagram, when you have a 3 technique sitting outside of the offense's strong guard, which in this case is this guard right here, when you have a 3 technique to the strong side, or he is over that guard, that is where you get the terminology of a 4-3 over front. Okay? When you go down here to this diagram, because the strong guard has not changed, and there is no 3 technique. Matter of fact, the 1 technique is playing underneath that strong guard. That's where you get the terminology of an under front. And so up top, we are over the strong guard. Down below, we are under the strong guard. So you have a over front and an under front. That is the difference. Moving on to the other players, the 9 technique is going to slide down into a 5 technique. Yes, that is a 5 technique. I am keeping 9 on the screen. to designate the difference between the weak defensive end and the strong defensive end. The D gap is now open, and I coached it to have the Sam backer walk up on the line. And so now you can see you have 5 defensive players who are on first level. So there you have your first part of your 52. The Sam linebacker is now acting more like a defensive lineman. Your Will linebacker will slide into a 33, which is a 3 technique. Or excuse me, I said 33, it will be a 35. A 3 technique, 5 yards off the ball, and your Mike would also be in a 35. 3 technique, 5 yards off the ball. Now Will is responsible for weak side A gap, and Mike is responsible for strong side B gap. So their responsibilities change a little bit, and so that would have to be worked in practice so that they get comfortable with that. Again, you would have your corners and your safeties somewhere in those areas. Why is it beneficial to have a 4-3 over front versus a 52 under front? You still have 7 players in the box. 4 plus 3 is 7. 5 plus 2 is 7. But as you can see in the top diagram, there are 3 gaps open pre-snap that second level players are responsible for. So versus a 4-3 versus a run, those 3 linebackers are going to have to get downhill pretty quick in order to be solid against the run. Versus a 5-2 type of defensive front, there are less open gaps pre-snap. In a 4-3 over front, there are 3 open gaps pre-snap. In a 5-2 front of any kind, in this case it's an under front, there are only 2 gaps open pre-snap. And so 52 fronts tend to be a little more solid against the run, which most people are trying to stop the run first. If you're seeing more pass in your league or versus opponents that you're going against, 4-3 might be more beneficial. That's something you're going to have to look at. I hope this has explained the difference between a 4-3 over front and converting it into a 52 under front. And I hope this knowledge will make the game of football more enjoyable for you, whether you are a player, coach, or parent. And as always, if there are any videos or topics for videos you would like to see, please comment below or email me at xzandos.com, and I'll do what I can to get those topics out to you as soon as possible. I appreciate your time, and we'll see you on the next video.